And now, the Rusty Stubblefield for President show featuring world-renowned raconteur and unemployed auto mechanic, the Reverend Rusty Stubblefield, sharing his unhinged views about America in crisis.
I'd like to thank y'all for listening to my show. I'd like to thank y'all for listening to my show. We's all got a point of view. I like sharing mine with you. Thank y'all for listening to my show. Rusty Stubblefield for president.
Howdy, y'all, and welcome to the second episode of the Rusty Stubblefield for President show. I'd like to take another opportunity to thank my gracious sponsors at the Conflation Station for giving me a chance at having my very own show. Truth be told, I ain't really running for president, not of these here United States, not of nowhere. You can blame this here show on my damn followers. They's the ones who flat out convinced me I's ought to be running for president. They's even taken to wearing red, white, and blue hats with the letters M-A-R-A printed on them. They's calling it the Mara movement. You know, make America rusty again. I hears I's quite popular in them there Rust Belt states. By the way, while it's still on my mind, don't y'all forget to tune into that Conflation Station podcast. They's on theirs 27th episode this week. Like me, they's also swimming downstream on them their Spotify, Apple, and YouTube services. Now, not for nothing, but I still preaching my weekly sermons at the Church of Our Lady of Original Sin. Deacon Jones keeps a trying to censor me, but the good Lord tells me, keep on trucking, baby. And as far as my continuing search for a job as an auto mechanic is concerned, I ain't found nothing yet. I might have to switch gears and take a lateral transfer to pumping gas again. Ain't no future in that there career fixing combustion engines no more with all them plug-in electric hybrid cars on the market. Damn that Elon Musk feller. Well, anywho, this past week, there's been lots of different ideas rolling around in my head, and I'd like to spitball a few of them with y'all today. So here's some of what I've been thinking about. Since I've been unemployed, I've been watching a lot of them there network news broadcast on cable TV. For me, the tenor of them there news shows and they's broadcasters just lacks the air of seriousness and decorum due a show that discusses the difficult issues we's facing in this here U.S. of A. today. Them there news shows host is always laughing and cajoling with each other. They's having a lot more fun than I is sitting there in my recliner with a beer in my hand at 8 a.m. in the morning. You know, I's had to give up coffee because it gives me the jitters. In the face of the tough times we's all going through these days, you know, with the government being shut down, I guess they's just trying to be all cheery-eyed so y'all won't get too upset about the direction this here country of ours is heading. That there government shutdown is getting real bad. Lots of good folks not getting paid and getting furloughed. My little sister, her name is Elvira Stubblefield Levine. She married some Jewish fella from New York City and took on one of them there hyphenated names. Well, she and that there Levine fella tried to hop a commuter flight from New York City to the city of brotherly love, you know, Philadelphia, for a wedding this past weekend. And her flight was delayed for 4 freaking hours due to them their air traffic controllers catching the blue flu. Shit, she could have driven to Philly in that there amount of time. And when she finally got there, everything was shut down under lock and key. She tried to visit that there Independence Hall where the founding fathers signed that there Declaration of Independence and was politely told by an armed guard that it was damn closed. Imagine that, a citizen of these here United States being prevented from the sacred halls where the original 13 colonies said no kings for the very first time. What an unnecessary travesty. And what's the cause of this here government shutdown? What are these politicians in Washington, D.C. feuding over? I'll tell you, it's damn health care. As a nation, we's paying $1 trillion a year for stockpiling weapons of mass destruction and for paying soldiers to sit on they's asses with no wars going on. And you tells me we can't afford to provide our fellow Americans with affordable health care like the rest of the civilized world does? Bernie Sanders, you've been preaching universal health care for your entire political career. It's time for you to get that there problem solved. By the way, getting back to my sister Elvira, 'cause she's married to that Jewish feller, Moshe Levine, she ain't gonna be voting for no anti-Semitic commie socialist Zoran Mandami for mayor of New York City. If in that Mandami gets elected, we's gonna see an exodus of Jews from New York City unlike anything we's ever seen before. It'll be like the time when these Jews left Egypt. You know, Pharaoh Mandami, 10 plagues, biblical proportions. The Jews is going to need Andrew Cuomo to part the Hudson River for them. Now, before I goes any further, I need to take a minute to set my mind straight by doing a little singing for y'all. So here's a ditty written by world-renowned composer E. Dude X and performed by the Electric Love Orchestra entitled Infinity Man. After I's done singing, I'll be back to finish my sermon.
Infinity Man. Infinity Man. Infinity Man. He can't stop at 10. Infinity Man. He's counting again and again and again. Infinity Man. He can't stop at 10. Infinity Man. He's counting again and again and again. Infinity Man. Infinity Man.
My, how I love to sing along with the Electric Love Orchestra providing instrumental support. And I just loves the music of E. Dude X. I feel so much more relaxed and in tune with the world after getting down tonight with some fine music. Anywho, getting back to them their news networks, they must think that talking about hard times and killing going on in these here United States is best said with a smile or over a bad joke. In case you didn't notice, nowadays all them newscasters go by they's first names. It's like I was watching a goddamn love fest. And have you all noticed that them there newscasters don't sit down no more? They's always standing up and moving around. Might be because them there news networks can't afford no chairs no more 'cause of the trade war with China. Yet on some other shows, these newscasters is sitting all comfy and cozy on a big couch together. Each of 'em might as well be sitting in they's own lazy boy recliner with they's feet up, making like they's watching us at home who's watching them on the TV. Just give me an honest man or woman sitting behind a plain old wooden desk reading me the damn bad news instead of a bunch of 'em sitting around some big-ass shiny glass conference table where all you can see is they's wearing sneakers and goofy-looking socks. This is what they's call transparency in America today. And just think how much they spending on Windex to keep them tables clean. Do you also notice how them their newscasters dress these days? Whatever happened to putting on a suit and tie? You ain't never seen Walter Cronkite without no tie and his shirt buttoned down. And them their women dressing up all sexy like. I guess they've been told they's got to dress that way to distract the men watching the show from all the bullshit going on in the world today. On the QT, I must say, I don't mind looking at a nice pair of legs on occasion. Watching today's news shows is like watching a variety show. You just got a bunch of know-it-alls constantly arguing, flat out fighting and debating and speculating about shit they actually knows nothing about. You've got press conferences where all them there reporters are yelling over one another to get these questions asked. And all the time that this shit show is going on, they's got a banner with news headlines scrolling below the main screen going so fast you can't keep up with it. It makes my damn head spin. And then they's got advertising. You've got advertising for cosmetics. You've got advertising for drugs up the yin-yang, promoting illnesses and diseases I ain't never heard of before. I don't need no doctor no more. I just watch the network news to find out what medications I need to take. And the folks in them there ads, as sick as they is, they's always looking healthier than I do. And they's always include an admonition that if you take the drug they're selling to you, you can die. And then to add insult to injury, they's also trying to sell you health care plans that you all can't afford. Barnum and Bailey would be proud today knowing that the three-ring circus they invented in the 19th century is alive and well on network news today. What's wrong with the network news is a metaphor for what is wrong with these here United States. And now, as I say at the end of each of my weekly sermons, if you and me put our pretty little heads together, we may still be able to figure out how to get this here US of A back on track. Thank y'all for listening.
I'd like to thank y'all for listening to my show. I'd like to thank y'all for listening to my show. We's all got a point of view. I like sharing mine with you. Thank y'all for listening to my show. Rusty Stubblefield for president.